Ancient healers never had cholesterol problems. Not because cholesterol did not exist, but because the specific imbalance we now call high cholesterol, the silent condition affecting more than half of all adults in the modern world, was almost entirely unknown to populations living on traditional diets. Your doctor measures your cholesterol and gives you a number, but that number tells only part of the story. What ancient healers understood, without laboratories, without blood tests, without pharmaceutical intervention, was that the body's ability to manage its own cholesterol depended entirely on what you fed it every single day. They observed patients across entire lifetimes. They tracked what the long-lived ate. They recorded what the sick had stopped eating. And across thousands of years of careful observation, they identified specific foods that kept the blood clear, the vessels open, and the heart strong into old age. Modern cardiology has now studied those same foods. The findings confirm what ancient healers observed with nothing but their eyes and their records. This is exactly what they ate. The first food ancient healers prescribed for clear blood was garlic. Ancient Egyptian physicians documented garlic as a medicine for the heart and blood vessels over 3,500 years ago. Ancient Greek and Roman physicians prescribed it specifically for what they called thick blood, the sluggish, cloudy blood they observed in patients who went on to develop heart disease. They did not know about allicin, the compound that forms when raw garlic is crushed, which directly inhibits the enzyme the liver uses to produce cholesterol, reduces LDL oxidation, increases HDL levels, and prevents the formation of arterial plaques. A meta-analysis of 39 clinical trials found that garlic supplementation significantly reduced total cholesterol and LDL cholesterol across all studies reviewed. Ancient healers prescribed raw, crushed garlic daily, specifically raw, specifically crushed. Modern research confirms that cooking destroys allicin. Ancient healers observed this effect without knowing the chemistry. They simply knew that raw worked and cooked did not. The second food was oats. Ancient healers across Northern Europe, China, and the Middle East prescribed whole grain preparations specifically for what they called cleaning the passages, the clearing of what they observed as buildup inside the body's channels. They did not know about beta-glucan, the soluble fiber in oats that forms a thick gel in the digestive tract, binds to bile acids that contain cholesterol, and carries them out of the body before they can be reabsorbed. The liver then draws cholesterol from the blood to replace the lost bile acids, directly lowering circulating LDL levels. The FDA has approved the health claim that oat beta-glucan reduces cholesterol, one of the very few foods to receive this distinction. Ancient healers prescribed whole grain oat preparations as a morning food without exception. The science confirms their instinct was precisely correct. The third food was olive oil. Ancient Mediterranean civilizations, Greek, Roman, Egyptian, documented olive oil not simply as a food but as a medicine for the heart and blood. Hippocrates prescribed it specifically for what he observed as the condition of clogged vessels in aging patients. The oleic acid and polyphenols in extra virgin olive oil directly raise HDL cholesterol, the protective form, while reducing LDL oxidation, the process that makes LDL dangerous by allowing it to embed in arterial walls. A landmark study of over 7,000 high-risk patients found that those assigned to a Mediterranean diet, supplemented with extra virgin olive oil, had a 44% lower rate of major cardiovascular events. 44%. Ancient healers prescribed olive oil at every meal, They did not know about HDL and LDL. They simply watched their patients live longer and die with cleaner vessels. The fourth food was turmeric. Ancient Ayurvedic physicians prescribed turmeric specifically for what they called the purification of the channels of the heart, the keeping open of the pathways through which the life force moved. They did not know about curcumin, the compound that reduces LDL cholesterol, decreases triglycerides, raises HDL levels, and directly inhibits the oxidation of LDL that triggers arterial plaque formation. A systematic review of clinical trials confirmed that curcumin supplementation significantly improved the complete cholesterol profile, reducing total cholesterol, LDL, and triglycerides while raising HDL. Ancient healers prescribed turmeric in fat-based warm preparations to maximize absorption. Modern pharmacokinetics has confirmed that fat increases curcumin bioavailability by up to 2,000%. They did not know the mechanism. They knew the result. The fifth food was flaxseed. Ancient Egyptian and Greek healers prescribed ground flaxseed specifically for heart and blood conditions. Ancient Ayurvedic texts list it as a primary medicine for the purification of the blood. They did not know about alpha-linolenic acid and lignans, the omega-3 fatty acids and phytoestrogens in flaxseed that directly lower LDL cholesterol, reduce triglycerides, and decrease the inflammatory markers most closely associated with arterial disease. A meta-analysis of 28 clinical trials found that flaxseed consumption significantly reduced both total cholesterol and LDL cholesterol across all study populations. Ancient healers ground their flaxseed fresh, a practice that modern research confirms is essential, as whole flax seeds pass through the digestive system largely intact. They observed that ground worked. They were correct. The sixth food was nuts, particularly walnuts and almonds. Ancient Persian, Greek, and Chinese physicians all prescribed specific nuts as heart medicines. Ancient Persian healers documented walnuts as a food that kept the blood clean and the vessels open into extreme old age. Ancient Greek physicians prescribed almonds for what they called softening the vessels, reducing the rigidity and buildup they observed in aging arteries. Modern research confirms both observations precisely. Walnuts contain the highest plant concentration of omega-3 fatty acids, directly lowering LDL and triglycerides. Almonds contain plant sterols that block cholesterol absorption in the digestive tract, the same mechanism as modern cholesterol-lowering medications, achieved naturally. A Harvard study found that eating a handful of nuts 5 or more days per week was associated with a 50% reduction in the risk of dying from heart disease. Ancient healers prescribed nuts daily. The science confirms they were right. The seventh food was green tea. Ancient Chinese and Japanese physicians documented green tea as a medicine for the heart and blood vessels across centuries of careful observation. They prescribed it specifically for patients they observed developing what they called hardening and narrowing of the pathways. The catechins in green tea, particularly EGCG, directly reduce LDL cholesterol, inhibit cholesterol absorption in the intestine, and prevent the oxidation of LDL that initiates arterial plaque formation. A meta-analysis of 14 clinical trials confirmed that green tea consumption significantly reduced total cholesterol and LDL cholesterol. A long-term Japanese cohort study found that people who drank 5 or more cups of green tea daily had significantly lower rates of cardiovascular disease and mortality across their entire lifetime. Ancient healers prescribed it as the daily drink of the healthy heart. They were right. 7 foods: garlic, oats, olive oil, turmeric, flaxseed, nuts, green tea. Ancient healers did not measure cholesterol. They did not know about LDL and HDL. They simply observed, across generations of careful attention, that certain foods kept the blood clear and the heart strong into old age, and certain foods did not. Their observation was perfect, their prescription was correct, and the modern world has replaced almost every single one of these foods with processed alternatives that do exactly the opposite. Start with 1. Raw crushed garlic today, a bowl of oats tomorrow morning, a handful of walnuts, a cup of green tea. The ancient prescription does not require perfection. It requires consistency. If this helped you today, share it with one person whose heart you want to protect. They may not know that what ancient healers knew has been waiting for them all along. Subscribe to Ancient Body Wisdom and come back every single week. There is so much more they knew, and we are only just beginning.